from Manchester, where the Curve have played the New Hampshire Fisher Cats the last 3 days. 3 straight shutouts for Altoona. They've not scored a run since Sunday. John, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, how's that for a happy intro, huh?
It is certainly an intro. I don't know that it's happy, but it's definitely an introduction.
Our visit this morning presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm, best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row, and the best of Indiana County contests. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So holes in the bat for the Curve, or just really, really good pitching for Fisher Cats?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little of both. I think in this case, New Hampshire has pitched very well. You know, their starting pitchers in this series have not allowed a run, obviously. But, you know, it's a combination of everything. You know, some guys have just not had good at-bats in critical spots. The Curve just haven't made enough opportunities for themselves. It's hard to score when you don't have base runners.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we think back to that 5-game winning streak they had earlier this year. The bats were working very, very well, and there are some guys that you rely upon. Just as you have pitchers that you call stoppers, you want to have that in the batting order as well. Guys that you know are going to make good contact and give you good at-bats. That has been a difficulty this week, though.
Yeah, it certainly has. You know, it's been sort of hard to watch at times because we know this Curve team is better than what they've shown and how they've played this week. I'm a little surprised at how it's played out, you know, given the way last weekend finished off against Portland, right, where they have late comebacks, you know, where they're, you know, having great at-bats and close games, and it just hasn't really played out that way this week. It's been a little strange. And, you know, obviously a little surprising, but hey, it's a long season. There's a lot of baseball, and, you know, sometimes you just don't have your best.
Yeah. And the damage done last night in particular, Charlie McAdoo. We remember him well, even though it was a brief time with the Curve last year before he was traded for IKF of the Pirates. But that hurts a little bit too. Yeah,
that was... You know, look, it's good to see Charles anyway. I saw him actually on the off day. Him and J.D. Woods were hanging out, just going out to lunch together. And, you know, he's had a tough year at the plate, but, you know, all the things that we liked about Charles McAdoo last year are still true, right? I mean, he's still got incredible power. It just comes down to him putting the ball in play on a regular basis. And, you know, last night had a couple of good at-bats. You know, Curve pitchers just couldn't really execute against him. And, you know, he's a guy that can do some damage if you leave pitches in the middle of the plate.
Yeah. Some different guys in different uniforms now for the Curve as well. You've had to introduce yourself to a few fellas.
Yeah, just a few. But, you know, it's I think the other thing that's been challenging this week is that you're down another starting pitcher. Garrett McMillan, who's been throwing the ball very well at Greensboro to start the year. You know, Garrett's elbow has you know, forced him onto the injured list this week. And, you know, not having a starting pitcher on Wednesday sort of throws things off kilter, right? Because you have to hold a couple of relievers for that bullpen game that was unscheduled on Wednesday because, you know, Garrett went on the IL on Sunday. And then there is the scheduled bullpen day, which ends up being today. You know, so the Curve come into this series with only 3 starting pitchers. So, you know, that's another challenge that you sort of have to, you know, you're juggling around all these different opportunities, all these different guys. You know, that's sort of thrown things off kilter too. I mean, at the end of the day, haven't hit enough, but, you know, only having 3 starting pitchers this week has been a challenge for pitching coach Matt Ford.
Yeah, and with the Pirates organization, especially right now with the Jared Jones situations, there's McMillan and his situation, other fellas who are experiencing some arm problems. You can understand that they're a little bit gun-shy about throwing more guys out there and up there to Altoona because they're trying so hard to protect these arms, but you still need someone to take the mound for 27 outs every day.
Yeah, and the way that things have played out is that the Curve have multiple guys on the staff that they can use to cover innings, right? Jared Bayless has thrown the ball very well when asked to start some of these bullpen days. Blake Townsend was pretty good again the other day. The Curve have guys that can go multiple innings, and they have guys that need more regular work. So having an open slot in the rotation isn't the end of the world, but you just don't want that slot to be twice a week where you have to go to your bullpen.
Yeah, that gets a little bit difficult. So for the Curve, in New Hampshire for 3 more games, Wilbur did very well last night, I thought.
Oh, he sure did. The thing that I'm loving about Wilbur Dotel these days, no walks. He is going after guys, even when he gets behind in the count, when he gets to a 3-ball count, he's got such a good fastball that, he can just let it happen in the middle of the strike zone. And sure, some guys did some damage, right? Like he gave up a couple of hard hit balls yesterday, ended up giving up 2 runs on 7 hits or 6 hits, I think. But, when he doesn't walk guys, he really forces the opponent to beat him. I think he's a guy that's got a really bright future. That fastball was excellent again yesterday. He struck out 7 guys again. So, that's 5 times for him this year that he has struck out at least 7 batters in a start. It's been really good to watch him. He's the next guy in terms of starting pitching prospect.
Yeah, we just had a big thunderclap and some lightning here in downtown Indiana. I understand it's raining there in New Hampshire, too.
Yeah, it's nice and gray this morning. Obviously, that's not what you want, but we are hopeful we'll be able to get this one in tonight. There's going to be a little bit of rain. New Hampshire, just like Portland last week, they've had a lot of postponements. This part of the country, this far north, has had a lot of rain. They've just had some bad luck, and I was reading this in their game notes yesterday. The Fisher Cats have already had more postponements this year than they have in all but 2 seasons of their franchise history. They've already been postponed 10 times this year. So that's a lot. That's about 1 out of every 5 games to start the year. So we are hopeful that it scoots on out of here tonight and we can play baseball.
There you go. Play some baseball in New Hampshire, maybe score a few runs, win a couple of games. That would be a good deal. And then you're home next week.
We sure are. It's the start of our 2-week homestand, right? And, this is great timing because school is out. You're ready to come watch some fireworks, which we'll have several times during this 2-week homestand that begins when we get back. On the front end of the 2-week homestand, we've got our Bucko Mania night on Saturday. So the Pirates Parrot, a week from Saturday, is going to be at the ballpark. Some of the other members of the Bucko Brigade are going to come out. All those fun characters and mascots from PNC Park are going to drive over to Altoona. We've got fireworks Thursday, again on Sunday, and then, flowing into the next week, we've got one of my best giveaways of the year, our shark tuna bobblehead. Oh. It's Al Tuna as if he was a shark, and the teeth bobble. It's awesome.
Wow. Man, oh man, what day is that?
That is going to be, I believe, June 20th. But check our promo schedule online. So that's in the second week of our 2-week homestand. I believe it's the Friday night of that homestand, toward the back end of it. Should be really cool.
What a beautiful thing. Of course, the first half of the Eastern League season is coming to a close, right?
Yeah, that's right. We will hit the end of the first half after this 2-week homestand, and then we'll start the second half down in Chesapeake to see the Bay Sox. And yeah, the halfway mark isn't all that far away. It's a little strange to think the season's just flying right by.
Yeah. You'd like to play some ball, though. Let's get the rain on out of here. It is so dark here in downtown Indiana that it looks like nighttime with this storm that we're getting right now. And so we're hopeful that in New Hampshire it's a little bit brighter picture by the time ball time rolls around tonight. Hey, John, thanks so much for the visit today.
Thanks so much. Talk to you next week.
There's Jon Mozes and the Altoona Curve. They are in New Hampshire, where they are playing the Fisher Cats this week.